Welcome, everyone. Hello. Thank you for joining our today's event. We are continuing our series of events regarding urban digital history and respective digital infrastructures for doing this kind of projects. My name is Taras Nazaruk. I work at the Center for Urban History in Lviv, and together with Roxolana Holovata, we are organizing this series and also pretty much involved in one of the projects of the center called Lviv Interactive, which is about a digital encyclopedia about the history of the city. And obviously, the topic of digital infrastructure for this kind of projects is crucial for the project for the Lviv Interactive. The series that we organize is called Urban History Digital Infrastructures, Sharing Expertise and Networking Cities. And with this series of events, we try to focus on methodological connections between urban history and digital humanities, and how it also engages with the complexities of cities' histories and culture, but also how to use different kind of digital methods, digital tools, and digital infrastructures for sustainable and long-term research and representation of this research in sphere of digital humanities. That's why we also try to organize these conversations not only about the results of certain digital history projects, not only about certain products, but also discussing the process itself, and not only to show and discuss and reflect on, let's say, success story, how everything works perfectly, but we are actually equally interested in issues, concerns, and troubles on the way, because the very practice of doing digital history is something that, and discussion about this practice is something that allows us to to build this expertise and develop this kind of projects in the long run, and also think about them in a sustainable way. And today we are happy. Today we are happy to have this conversation together with Tukce Karatash about the one of the tools, one of the infrastructures that is available for this kind of initiatives, digital history, digital humanities initiative in general, which is called OMECA-S. Tukce is head of digital research infrastructure at the Center for Contemporary and Digital History. She's a research scientist specializing in the management, curation, and preservation of large historical data sets. She completed her PhD at the University of Torino as a part of the Maria Sklodowska-Curie Action Fellowship in Digital Technologies for Cultural Heritage in 2022. And her doctoral research was focused on developing digital curation techniques using semantic tools to support data representation and integration. She also coordinates the European Union Erasmus Plus project AISTER, which aims to enhance the capacities of European higher education institutions in leveraging artificial intelligence and participatory methods to safeguard cultural heritage in Ukraine. And additionally, she contributes to the Skiros project within the Operas research infrastructure, fostering in this interdisciplinary research on open science in the social sciences and humanities. And from all those multiple layers of expertise and affiliations and experiences, we are really happy to get those insights for our conversation. We are very much looking forward to learning from your expertise, Tukce, on OMECA-S, on also broader issues related to digital research infrastructures in humanities. So yes, we are going to have a presentation from you, and then afterwards we would be happy to continue this conversation, to ask questions, maybe some comments. So I also encourage our audience to raise their hands if they have some questions after the presentation, or leave them in the comments so that we can bring them up after the presentation, after the presentation. So the mic is yours. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for agreeing to have this talk today. looking forward to it.
Thank you very much for your kind words. Like all the acronyms and including my name is very hard to pronounce, so I apologize. But yes, today I will be talking mainly about OMKS because also last lecture that you gave with Roxaliana was very important to understand also what kind of challenges that you are having to preserve the existing projects, which is very much like in the core of our job at the University of Luxembourg, mainly the Center for Contemporary and Digital History, where I am working. So this lecture actually, like I was designing a little bit more like introduction to the content management system, collection management systems. But I think what is interesting is that like as we were hearing a lot about from your project last lecture, I also changed a little bit that can give an example like as Omeka S to also how to manage and kind of like give an introduction to the software, not only Omeka, but like discuss also the related specification and how to also think the entire pipeline when we are working with the digital tools. So, okay, I will just try to wait. Sorry, but I don't know what is happening. Ah, yeah. Perfect. So just to start that, like I think many of us were discussing also last lecture that like we want a system that can collect and manage our data, and like for us to create some digital content, modify it, and manage, and also hopefully publish it. So my experience with the Omeka S is coming from also with this need. So when I was doing my PhD in Torino, we were assigned to a project which we eventually needed a system that can provide us all the pipeline, what we call the digital curation. So from the beginning of the data collection, processing, analyzing, and publishing, we wanted to keep everything in one system, and hopefully that will allow us to manage the content, but at the same time like have a collaborative content. So why Omeka S is that like it's flexible, it's free, an open source web publishing platform that basically like allows more or less like what you want to do collaboratively in the research projects. And last year we were also involved with teaching in the undergraduate studies with my colleague from George Mason University, Lara Bretnan. And we were also discussing that like there are a lot of tools around and how like we can be sure that like it is employed in a way that like it can serve for everyone. And also, what is important for us nowadays, especially, is that like it has an open source function and also community behind it. So when you start to, let's say, experiment with the Omeka S, we also realize that like there is a huge community behind, and many of the questions that we are having is the same questions that everyone is having in the digital infrastructure. So it was easy to communicate with the Omeka team, but also has a great community behind where you can also discuss these topics through the forums and all these different perspectives. And it's basically a platform to curate your items and pretty much like item-based model. And where what is important here is also that like it allows you to publish, so it allows you to exhibit your let's say digital sources in a way that like you create one database and then you can multiply different collections, and this gives you the pretty much the idea of the back end of the Omeka S here. As you can see that like you can create quite a lot of like resources, and then you can also attach the metadata on it in the item level. So it can be also like from the perspective of the modeling, and then also like enriching the sources, but also pretty much like documenting all the steps in a way that like after you can create quite a lot of exhibition with the digital exhibition with it. And another function which is quite interesting is that like you are also very much flexible with the page building. So once you have your entire, let's say, resources, you can also work on the front end, what we call, to give the a little bit of the flexibility for the users as well. So going back to the first, if I can, yes. So the back end of the system is like pretty much for the users that will be more like specific like domain specific experts, and it's also like the curators, archivists, historians, any type of like people, like any type of field experts. They can collaboratively create the resources, and then what you want to choose to publish and create a collection can change using with the page building functionality. And here there are also like very good examples. And I think what is interesting with the tools like Omeka S is that like it is coming from a company called Digital Scholar from United States, and they are mostly like the people who are behind the Zotero, Omeka S, Tropy, and all the things that you can see. It's like from researchers to researchers. So they really understand the functionality, and they really document everything that can be helpful as a research question as well, because all the things that we are tackling at the moment is like not only the technical problems, but it's very much like research problems. And here on these grounds is also like a very good example of the this functionality and also this mindset of the creators, because it comes with the notion of the Omeka team that wants to create basically linked open data project to describe the lived experience of enslaved people who labored in the institutions of the higher education. So here you have like extensive also the technical documentation. So if you are, for example, interested in also like building one of this system, you can also see the model, how to do it, and also how to aggregate it, because it's also coming from different universities. So it's very collaborative, but at the same time, it explains like how you can also build your own Omeka installation on your own computer. And this is a very interesting function for me, because this is also not coming only from the research need, but it's also coming from a responsibility that like while we are building the things, we also need to document it. So in any case, if people wants to do their own collections and do their own research, it's easy to give them also this tool, and also how to, for me, it's also kind of like how to make sure that like the you also include the tool criticism in there, because we don't really see the at the infrastructure wise that like we are also like documenting in the tools in the different formats, like maybe the GitHub, maybe any kind of other documentation. Maybe you don't have any other documentation and you only have one person who knows everything about these tools. But here we are also like very much into this responsibility of the team that like they wanted to also create this extensive documentation. And the other example that I would like to show is also like about the mapping function. So the Omeka, when you think about a tool, it comes with a standard function, meaning that like when you go to the OmecaS website, you have your employment. So like you can create your own instance, or you can even like work with the sandbox function, but it's always in the default, meaning that like it comes with the default, and then you can add more functionality on it. What is important with the colleagues in Gantt is that they are very much into building also these modules. And modules meaning that like, for example, if you will have an existing project in any other format, and you would like to transform it in the linked open data format, and you wanted to edit in your like you want to change your tool to the OmecaS, it's possible with the modules. Then you can just like with a couple of function and a couple of again like very much documented in the Omeka website, done by the people who are using like the Gantt colleagues, to how to do it. So everything is documented on their website. You can also download it and then like import it on your OmecaS, and then you enrich your OmecaS tool as much as you need. And here they are more like on the mapping function, and they show the Gantt from the different timeline, and then they also have the geolocation, and they can add all the sources on the go. The other example that like gives another functionality to the tool is coming from the University of Luxembourg. My colleagues during the COVID times, they wanted to create kind of like memory bank in the like for the people and living and working in Luxembourg. And this is very interesting because what you can see here is that you have also the add yours function. So the OmecaS also comes with the collaborative function. So your database can also, like your resources can also be enriched with the people who are adding their own collaborative sources and also their own memories, like in this case where we can see with the COVID memory. And this is also like very much like important in the crowdsourcing projects, and especially when you are collecting the oral history testimonies or any kind of like different functionalities, you can always build your tool in a way that like people can also come with their own sources, and then you just like enrich your resources. And there are some key items, like here we are going a little bit details. I am gonna explain a little bit also that like how the OmecaS works in the on the backend. So how do you basically work with the tool? So everything in the OmecaS is an item, and this is actually the digitized version of any primary source. So you build your site with or your database item by item. And this is quite interesting, in my opinion, also to think about like when you have like quite a lot of items, then you need to find a way also that like how to manage all these items. If you have, let's say, like 1,500 items, it's relatively easy. But like if you have more than like let's say 5,000 items, then you also have flexibility to form them in a way that like it will make sense, and it comes from the metadata. So everything for the any content management system, as you know, that it comes with the metadata. So the information about the source, whether it's an descriptive information or it's administrative information, anything about the document, image, object. However, you need to enrich it with the metadata, meaning like it can be the title of the painting, it can be the creator of the painting, the date, the type. But at the same time, OMKS is flexible in the way that like you can also go into detail of the item, and then you can create item-based metadata. For example, if you are talking about the painting, you can have your metadata. But if you are talking about this item in your collection, who uploaded the item and who, let's say, created the item, this is also possible with the OMKS. So in each level, you have different type of metadata and you can enrich it as you go. And this is more or less what it looks like. So here you have like the values, the news, the media, the item set, size, and all this like different function. And on the right hand side, you also see that like there are certain properties. It is let's say the computer science term, but it is basically what another type of relation or information that you will put in the metadata level. So title, uh, creator, the date of the creation, language, everything can be a metadata. And what you will find, where you will find them is on the right hand side, on the property side. And this is also a default of the OMKS. If you want to create also the bespoke metadata, this is also possible. So you can also create your own what we call vocabulary, meaning that you can also use your own words to describe the objects. Or if, for example, in your on your old project, if you have a different definition of the relation between the painter and the painting, then you can also add your own bespoke metadata information system on the OMKS tool. And then there are also the classes. So here you see that like the Dublin Core, it's a metadata standard. And then in this standard, you have different, let's say, basic form of the classes. And then these types, like these classes, can be the collection, the dataset, event, image, and it all comes with a different metadata. What is interesting is that like you don't need to jump like create every time a different like metadata. What you can also inherit on the system is that you can inherit the metadata of the class. So, for example, if you have if you have a collection of the images, then you don't need to every time click like title, creator, the date of creation. You have the image, and then you have all the related, like let's say, most frequently used metadata. Then you have kind of a template to fill it out. That makes also easy for the life who is maybe also someone working in the curation side. So when you have like certain set of the metadata with the same collection, that makes your life easier. But because that means that like you can aggregate, you can also like kind of like create set of collections based on the same metadata. And the second important part is that like the property, what is like, of course, like we explained a little bit also the relation between these two, let's say, item, but it's also more or less like how you create the relation. So think that like you are thinking that you are creating an overall relation between the different images, the painters, and the location and the date, then you kind of like need to have a formal relation between these two concepts. And this is what we say the property. And then these properties come with the value. So I am explaining it very detailed, but what is important here is that like it comes with also like a great flexibility, and this is where we start also the linking part of our data. Because it's a relational database system, then you can also in the value section, then you can also use a text or any other Omeka resource, but also the URI. So it gives you flexibility to the link different items that you created with the items, which what we call basically the link data. And in the field, of course, like you have the things to also set of the things, but you can also add your function if you are into the ontologies, or if you are a little bit more advanced in the informatics side. And then like the media. So what is media for the Omeka tool is the same, like the files, images, or the audio related to an item. And it is basically a representation of the thing, the item that you are saying. And this comes with the this comes with a little bit of confusion, because you can also go into detail in the media and then you can link it with your item, or you can just like create your item. And it depends basically, like while we are going to details, this is also important to state that like everything, if you when you are building the content management system or any type of like digital tools, the important part is that like what do you really want to show. If your system is built with the media, so bunch of images, the visuals, and then you want to show a collection based on the visuals, then it makes sense for you to create the entire structure based on the media. But if you are talking about, for example, the events, so any kind of events, and you have the media function as another metadata, so another information, then you can also think your entire collection based on the events, and then you can just like use the media section to fill out the information. So it basically depends like how you want to represent the things, but also how you would like to show your collection. And so in the backend, you will also see if you have if you have like, maybe we can go at the end a little bit of the hands-on. Then you have some kind of like functions like the resources and the managed sites. The Omeka S is also as I stated before, is the based on the publishing the things. So the sites are very important, and you can also like create all the items and then manage several sites. You just need to add site and then like configure your let's say the website based on the things that you want to show. And then another thing is the item sets. This is also quite important because we were talking about managing the large items a little bit. So these are the group of the things, group of the items, and you build as a collection. So when you are like dealing with the 1,500 objects, maybe it's easy. But when you are dealing with the extensive amount of objects, then it gets a little bit crazy. And in this craziness, what you can do is also you can create the item set, and then that can be your collection. And then you can link the collections with the item sets. So you can have the different item sets. So you can have the, let's say, the media of the paintings, and then you can have the painters, which is a person, and then you can have the places, which are like the locations, and then you can also have the dates. And then these are all the things that like is very useful if you want to keep the control of your database, like the content management system on the backend. And then like here also you will see this how it's really like represented in the item sessions. So this is the again the backhand of the Omeka S. And as you see, you have all these like different tight, right, style, and this is basically your metadata. And then at the end, you have the source that you can also link it on the other side. So which gives you actually the flexibility to connect your item, connect your object, connect your piece of information outside of the word where the link data comes in. And then the backend, as we were talking, is the looks like on the left hand side, and then the front end you see all the representation where the, let's say, the general public will see. So basically, this is a little bit of introduction to the Omeka S. If you would like to have give it a try, we can also do a little bit of like hands-on training. So when you go to the OmecaS website, you will see the you will see the sandbox function. And then when you say go into the sandbox section, you can also create your own item, and then you can play with the backend. So you can choose one of the username, and then the first part of the username will be the password. So more or less, this is what I would like to talk about the Omeka. If you have more questions, we can also open up the conversation. And then if you have any specific requirement to me to talk about, we can also talk about that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. for this introduction to Omeka. I think you can also try maybe even to have this hands-on approach to this platform, to this content management system, and even try to use the sandbox to, I don't know, to just have a look and feel and how it works. Maybe we can manage to do it even today, now during this event. But before that, I maybe before we move to this, maybe I will just bring some topics or questions that I have in mind during your presentation. I also encourage participants to leave their comments or questions in the comments or raise their hands. Thank you for making those very specific points about the nature and the idea of this platform, because it was Omeka S in general was very interesting for us. Both Omeka and Omeka S very interesting for us and for community of practice in general, because it is done by people from the academic kind of circles, backgrounds, and for the very specific use in the academic projects, which makes it very exciting to use and to learn more about that. And also, I think that the very strong argument that is also very interesting for us is that there is a community behind this platform, and basically in this case, while working with this platform, while trying out its limitations and opportunities, you actually have other people that you can discuss with, that you have this expertise that you can refer to, and this is also makes you not that alone in your project. And we all know that digital humanities projects in general, they're very much collective endeavor. It requires conversations and combination of different expertise, and also not only for using those tools, but also, as you mentioned, for tool criticism, for actually reflecting upon those tools and trying to understand how those tools affect our knowledge production process, basically, how we, through those digital means, how we learn about certain things, how we store them, collect them, and represent them later on based on the research. And thank you also for mentioning this project from Ghent, because that's also very relevant to us. And actually, we are this is one of the projects that we are going to invite to this series as well, so that we can have also some insights from their experience and expertise. So it's also quite encouraging for us that you mentioned the same project as well. But when we come to the structure or how items and media and metadata descriptions are structured there, this is actually that I wanted to ask you, because I was trying to apply the structure that you mentioned to the project Live Interactive, to the project that we're working with. And I'm thinking about that because basically, Live Interactive is less about about collecting and representing items, but rather a project that puts more emphasis on narratives created based on certain primary sources. So we not that much collect and present primary sources as such, but rather certain research publications based on the basically research prepared by some of the scholars who would use certain primary sources. And that's why we call it encyclopedia as well. So basically the core element in our structure in our data model is actually encyclopedia entry about certain person, certain event, certain building, and then those entities basically are objects in the database. That there is an object about building, object about created about building, about personality, about event, about so on and so on. And then articles, like research articles about those entities, are at the core of our data model. That's why I was wondering how flexible this structure within the OmegaS could be in order to in order to apply this infrastructure to our needs, to our projects. As far as I understand, if Ghent project has done it, and if they have this documentation, it's quite possible because I would say their project quite similar to ours, to our ideas about Live Interactive. So there are some interconnections for sure. But in general, I was wondering if there is such an opportunity and flexibility to apply this platform not only to collect and exhibit like primary source items, but also some narrativized entities that I mentioned. And then I can also see questions from the participants. I don't know if we collect them, or if you want to answer this one, and then
I will just answer briefly your question, because like this is also basically like how we keep how it keep us together as a community, because it all comes with the real need. And then what we were doing also, like every year is we have the community event. The last one was in Luxembourg, so it was kind of like giving the moment that like what we are struggling at the moment. So for example, the AI metadata creation. So this is a function that you can edit. It's already there, done by one of our community member as additional function, that the modules that I was talking about. And then the conversation starts with that, do we really need it? And then also like why do we need this like AI function in that sense? And how accurate is that? So the source criticism, the tool criticism. So everything what we do is like in general terms of the infrastructure is just for the reflection. So you cannot really choose the best tool in the world because it doesn't exist, unfortunately. But like what is interesting about the tools like Omeka is that it gives you the flexibility to build on. So the you can create the modules, so you can be flexible on your backend. So meaning that like you can create all your definitions, ontologies, the RDF, vocabularies, whatever you want, and you add it on the Omeka. And also the flexibility that you are talking about applying this narrative is comes also from the front end. So in both sections that you are flexible to create your own. It requires a little bit more, as you said, the reflection what you want to do, but it's quite interesting to see all the examples that are doing the bespoke interface design with the React. So this is another tool. So usually what is interesting for us the digital infrastructure is that like we usually are never happy with the existing tools. Either we just like mix and match the tools or we kind of like modify it. And then in this regard, I think with the narrative side, the storytelling side, what you can play with your front end for your website design, and then also with the different functionalities on the back end. But this is what also is, I think, makes the Omeka S interesting for this type of projects. For
Mhm.
my projects, we were also not happy with any of the functions, so we create everything bespoke because it requires a little bit of understanding. Also, it's a different mediation with the researcher to understand what they want to 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 do and how we can represent it. So, and then later you also kind of like play with the existing tool and existing knowledge, which is usually like very well documented with the Omeka.
Mhm, mhm. Yes, it's very, it sounds really promising, this flexibility that Omeka S provides on the backend level specifically. And if we can also apply different other solutions for the front end, it also gives a lot of flexibility actually. And probably this is also one of the core difference from the previous edition from Omeka itself.
Yes.
Because here it seems to be quite much more flexibility than it was before. And I was actually wondering if you came across any similar project, not in a sense similar as Lead Interactive, but the project that has its let's say legacy structure already developed and thinks
And then imported in
tries to convert
yeah,
it to Omeka
yeah,
S
yeah,
logic on a kind of semantic linked data basis instead of creating it from a scratch. So, I
yes.
mean, because
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
probably even much more easier to create something from a scratch than to convert something existing
Yeah,
into.
it depends. I think there are like we have one colleague. His name is Daniel Berto. So he is the one basically like working with all the institutions and creating all the modules for us, like these flexibilities for us. And he mentioned last time in September that like there is a potential to immigrate your static websites. So I don't know if your in your case like you still want to keep the interactivity, but it is very possible to create a Omeka instance using the existing project, but in the static sites. So you can, I mean, yeah, interactively it's not very easy to
Hmm.
create it. But like if you just want to import your existing database, it is very much possible. You can also import the different data models, meaning that you can like you if you have already existing relations with your items and the collection, it can be also on the item level. You can create the omeka. It requires a little bit of like granular level,
Hmm.
let's say, attention. But it is quite possible. I think it will be very interesting to see that also now the times are changing and we are losing quite a lot of like financial resources to keep the websites alive, including the on these grounds. So when you go to the website, you will see that like the on the little window they are saying that like financially they are also out of the funding. So since the all the existing projects were more like the beginning of the digital, let's say, tools, that could be quite interesting to also switch the tool which is more open source, flexible, and also community backed, because then you have more, let's say, opportunity or like yeah, more opportunity to stay alive, and when you think about the preservation.
Yeah, I think it's crucial for sustainability to think of
Yeah.
this kind of solutions that
Yeah.
are community backed and are open source and less proprietary based in
Hmm.
that sense. So definitely one of the uh, key solutions. There's a
Yeah.
question. There are two questions from Brigitte Lenormand in the comments. The first one is about the kind of maximal size
Yeah.
capacity of the projects in terms of memory. So if it's an exhibit with images, is there a maximal size for the
Hmm.
project in terms of memory? And the
Hmm.
second one is how powerful is the search tool? Actually, something that
Hmm.
we are also struggling with. Is it just keyword based, or I mean, there are
Yeah.
other solutions as well?
Yeah. For the first one, sorry. For the first one, there is no like kind of storage problem if you are running the Omeka S on your own instance. Meaning that like you can get your the support from your infrastructure, and then like you kind of have the flexibility. But if you are like going for the like Omeka is supported, let's say option, then it comes with the different let's say storage capability. But as far as I know, that like there is no like storage problem if you have your own instance. Of course, if you also like want to upload or like store a huge data, then you need to also talk with your infrastructure team to see the 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 functionality. But for the rest, I don't think that it's a problem. And for the second one, it's yeah, keyword based. The main function is comes with the keyword, and it is basically the part that like you also can design it. So if you have, for example, on your item set that it's an archaeological site, I am giving an example, like fictional example, and the objects and the media, then you can search it in a way that like in a way that like it creates a different query, what we call, and then that is also based on the, let's say, the properties. So it's not really like functional in that case, so it will not give you um, like a good match. But what you can do is you can add on the again the plugins that will like give you the sparkle and on the other queries, and it can also like integrate some APIs and all different databases on your system. So I think it depends like how the Omeka is built, but it is possible to also like do query based research as search as well. You just need to add on the plugin, the module.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then also the modules are like different functions, so you need to see also like how they are matching with each other. But if you are interested on this type of topics, I think it will be nice also to go into the documentation side of the Omeka S and see the modules. And then in the modules, you see the function of the module and how they let's say work with the other modules, because you don't want to kind of like override on the different let's say functionality. But yes, so mainly it's not a problem to create an advanced search function.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from the participants?
Yeah, I actually have one, no, two, two questions. One is about different type of systems, for example, and connecting them. For now, with our CMS, we also work with ArcGIS
Yeah.
projects, and we combine them into our website by iframes.
Mm-hmm.
How it works with Omeka. Is
Yeah.
this the same? You need to write the code, or it just they have these tools?
Yeah.
How connect them? And the second one is about the designs, like the front end,
Mm-hmm.
how it's flexible. If, for example, can we does Omeka has its templates, or we can just to customize it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
questions.
the second one is the easy part, that you it comes with the I think three or four different templates. So it's just like starting with, you just choose the theme, what is called, and then you just good to go. You don't need to do anything, and it's just build on. Or what you can do is you can also customize it in a way that like as you want. So all the websites that I was showing today is all customized. So ours is based on React, and then the others are probably using different tools. So you just like need to take the API and then transform it in a way that like that the one that you want to show. So it's quite flexible, and many of the institutions are doing that if they have the support on the designer side. And also, like I think this is quite important. Also, like to be flexible on the things that like you want to show the way that you want to show. And if you know also a little bit of the themes, like how to build them, then you can also work on the coding side. I know that they are also working on the last time they were saying that they are also working on adding more templates, and also like to make it more like for example for the history, for the collection, for the different glam institution the themes. So they also have a UX designer, UX UI designer, which you can also get help. And then what we have also is that like we have different working groups when we come together. Then there is also some kind of like they are very kind to attend the community events, because this is also where they get the feedback, and then they are always like changing and trying to do the updates and the new functions based on this. There's a newsletter you can also sign up to see the updates and the new functions. And also the forums. So you can also go to the forums and you see that like probably people are like posing the same question, and then you see the form of documentation also there. And the
And
other one,
embedded content from third-party services. So embedding and iframes or other content from.
yes, the ArcGIS. Yes. So this is interesting. For the image, they usually have the IIIF. So they are very good at like working with the IIIF. For the ArcGIS, I am sure that they also have this like edit function. I suspect that like it is more into the plugins again. So like even for the IIIF, you need a little bit of more layer to put. So this is something that like is quite flexible to just like work with the different tools and the softwares as well. So that should be not a problem, which I think the colleagues from Ghent will is
Mhm.
also working on this.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have one. Um, we talked about the good sides of Omeka. What is
Yes.
the bad sides? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was actually also my interview question because I was explaining, yes, I did this and that when I was like, and then they was like, okay, tell us what doesn't work. For me, what is interesting to see with Omeka is the would be the kind of who is changing what. So if you are working in a group, you need to also understand that like when you uploaded this who uploaded is easy, but like when you delete it or when you so you need this type of registry, like that is a little bit tricky to in the existing interface to understand. There are also like plugins, so I am talking a lot of modules, but these modules also that like if you are not very if you don't know where to look, it's not easy to find. So you need to know that like modules are existing, because the modules in the website are not all the modules. So there are certain people in the entire world working on these modules to implement, and they are sharing it on the GitHub, but you don't see all of them on the website. So if you don't know that this function exists, you will say, Omeka is not really good tool. But it's actually quite flexible, so you can actually edit, but you need to, like you need to have this, let's say, the bank of the modules that like can be useful. And then this also goes with for me the items. So when I don't know if you tried ever using the Omeka S, you are basically lost if you are just like starting from the item level, because you need to start with the data model. Otherwise it will not be possible, like add one more item and then one more item and then click. So you kind of need to visualize it before, and that requires also a lot of discussion and mediation with the project team. So what you want to show, how you would like to represent, and like it's how do you collect or what kind of sources you have. So it's always tricky to understand what will happen at the end of the project. For me, it was also very difficult to understand, which I was not coming from the computer science field, and it was very hard to understand this like property level description, the metadata, but in a way you see that like even for the images there are million ways to create metadata, but you need to be sure that like everyone creates in the same format, in the same like data vocabulary. So I advise that like start with the conceptualizing the project and then create also the vocabulary. And what worked for me is also like, I don't know, yeah, with possible in your case, to have a template that everyone use the same data standard, because otherwise like it's not like, and this is a function that you can easily do it on the Omeka S, because when you think about, for example, like metadata level, yeah, the time, how the date or the time can be different, but there are thousands of ways to describe it. And when you look at the different, like when you want to aggregate or like publish or like use another data set, then this is getting complicated, because you need to be sure that everyone is using the same standard and the vocabulary. So the best thing is that like to design, the conceptualize, and then the document, and then hopefully one of you will enter, so there is no problem. But if you have like 5 people entering the data, then make sure that like everyone has a documentation and readme file that like how to upload the things, because it can get a bit, yeah, out of hand.
Yeah, at certain point it gets messy for sure, and
Yeah.
we also had this experience, and we already actually started. That's a good advice, actually, Tuksha. Thank you for this advice. We already started this discussion that we need to kind of review our existing or previous data models, and also think how we can envision this larger picture for our project in future in terms of data model, and how to then go that direction, and transform it. To new data models.
And what I
Mhm.
would like to add last one word, Taras, is just like, and also you can always edit, and it's flexible. I mean, like you add one metadata and you can just like delete it, or you can delete entire thing, and it is like quite okay to also just like
Mhm.
edit on the go, so it's like still like living item, but again like yeah, so you just need to conceptualize in a way that like it can be edited also later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I think it's inevitable even,
yeah,
because if you develop a structure that is too rigid and fixed,
exactly.
then at certain point it fails, because
Yeah,
there are something that you wouldn't envision, something
yeah,
that you want to add up, and so on. So on one hand, you have to have it kind of larger picture, broader picture of your structure. On the other hand, you always have to keep it flexible for changes and
yeah.
edits, because it will change, definitely.
Sure.
It's an inevitable part of this kind of projects. Um, I'm not sure. I see some colleagues are leaving already,
Yeah.
because I have some others commitments. But I was wondering if we have, I don't know, 1 or 2 or few minutes to, I don't know, to have this kind of walk through the system,
Yeah.
sandbox system itself, just to
Yeah.
have a look and feel, and to understand how it looks
Okay,
from
so
the inside.
yes, so I do have the training thing, but just to save time, maybe I can just like go through the Omega S and show it live. So we go to the sandbox. Ah, maybe you don't see my screen.
No, not yet.
Sure. Okay. So here I have yeah. So I have let's see. So here I have the Omeka website, and then I go to the sandbox, and I just like copy paste the thing that they said, and you can use a different one. And then I'm here on the sandbox. So while I am going through the things, so this is the sites that like all the websites that you can see, like created with the database, and these are like all the.
I don't think we can see the same screen
Ah, no?
as you, because now
Ah,
we can
okay.
see University of Luxembourg SharePoint.
Okay, sorry. Just a second. Mm-mm-mm. Now, is that okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, sorry. So I came to the backend. And the backend looks like this. So you have the resources, the items, item sets, vocabularies, resource template, users. So it's more like admin function. And here are the things that like I was telling the modules. So you can like for example the collecting forms from your site, which is more like a crowdsourcing project, and then you can import the CSV, the custom vocabulary, the mapping function. This is the function that you might be willing to look at it, and then even the Zotero import. And then you have a couple of more like settings on the side of the technical parts. And here you can see also the modules. What is important here is that the items. So when you want to create, these are all the items created before. And then, like, for example, when you go to see one of the item, here are the metadata, and then who is the owner and how is it like in the media side, and then the creator. And all the time when you see the red function, that means that it's linked to other resources. So it's done by the created by the painter, and then you have this no architect, and then it's kind of like gives you the flexibility of the searching through the different items. And then you have the item set, for example. So in that item set, we have like quite a lot of items. As you see, like 500 items. And when you go down, like you see all the time the same kind of like a format. And it's all kind of like coming from the same, let's say, collection. Well, how to create this new item? So you click on the new item, and then you can choose
Mm-hmm.
any type of resource template. So it can be any template, and this is also where you can put your own bespoke template.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also this like resource templates here on the left hand side. And these are all the templates that they created. So you can add your new resource template with any different, like, let's say, test template. And then this, if you use this template, then let's say it's a physical object. I edit the title, and you can add also, I don't know, like the date accepted maybe. And then you can also choose other metadata here, the license, let's say. And then I edit. And then when I'm creating my item now, I can also see my resource template here. So it comes with all the metadata that I created.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then if it's not, for example, enough, I can also create, I don't know, the more. So I can say image, and
Mm-hmm.
then like last name, I'm just like unmade. And here you have the description of the metadata. So you have the description of the properties, like how is it related with the thing, and then DC terms are coming from the standards, like the of the Dublin Core.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start writing, for example, test object, and then I can also add the Omeka source. So if I know which object I will link, for example, the first one, I just like select the source, and now it's related with my object.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can write the description, or I can choose for example, this like URI, and I can just like copy paste the website, and then it links to the outside source. And then here I can also, yeah, so for example, I didn't like this and I will just like to, delete it, and I just like delete it in the this like super easy way. And then like here also some kind of like test, let's say, and then for example, I don't have any image or the maid or the last name. It doesn't matter. I just edit on the right hand side, and now I have my object. And when you go, you will see it on this side, and you can always come and change it here on the site.
Mhm.
So yes, so then what is important also is that like the visibility, so it's visible for everyone, and also the sites. So if I want to, for example, to edit on the site to show it in the on the website, I can. I have five sites. I can just add the site, or I can add also two, three sites. So I want to show it everywhere, maybe. Then I save it, and then it's now like on the four of the sites. What is also interesting is the vocabularies. So here it comes the part you can import your new vocabulary here. So when you have an existing vocabulary, you can just like import it, and then you have your own vocabulary as like Dublin Core, friend of a friend on bibliographic ontology. So this is also possible to do. And then when you are searching the items, for example, the test, then you see you have the text object, and then like and you can also do the advanced search. You can also search on the backend the with the different for example the geographic location, and then all the different things. I want to show quickly also the how the maybe not this one, maybe this one, to see how it the search function works also here. So triple IF, the video, the image on this part, and then you also have the browser, and then you can also do the advanced search here, kind of advanced search here, and then sort it off. So in theory, you should be able to do an okay research, okay search also like with the existing theme, the template.
Mhm.
And then like yeah, we have the triple IF function, and then also the video, like the example. 3D is not super sported as I remember. But for the rest, it gives you a basic like website, and then like these are the like all coming from the theme of the Omeka, like provided by Omeka, and you can always like go back and edit. Also, sorry, the pages. So in the site section, you have also, this is very important for the storytelling, you have the navigation. You can add like the map browse, the custom or URL, and all item sets. And you can also, sorry, every time you have to save, don't forget to save. And then like if maybe I just like cancel for now. And then you also have this like different themes on the
Mhm.
site section. So you can edit the theme settings, and then with like four of them is already there, and then you can just like configure all the things in the theme section of the site. So this is basically more or less like everything.
Mhm.
And then yeah, and then when you go through the the examples, or so try to create something again, like you can always delete it, and then it just like it's begun. And here you have like I think 3 days at the Omeka sandboxes. to create something, and it stays like 3-4 days maybe, and then it's like automatically deleted.
I see.
And then the Omeka org, maybe I show also yes, all the modules are here. Advanced search, all the, for example, yeah, all the things, the API and everything. The blogs, for the blogs are for the website, so like for the front end, and then custom ontology, for example, if you want to create your own custom vocabulary, data cleaning, all the collections and everything, and also the forum, if I can choose the forums. So here also you have all the documentation, installing, development, and also the themes, the accessibility, that you can see that like all the colleagues are asking the questions. So you kind of like, you can do the maybe ArcGIS. Yeah. So you can just like the iframe, you see that like there is already discussion going on.
That's very useful.
And then I also suggest that like to look it up also the certain people, like especially the colleagues, they are also working on the different let's say fields. Like Daniel, for example, is very important for the technical implementation. So you can also check the GitHub of him. So all of us are more or less like fan of open source things. So that's why you will see quite a lot of documentation, and the everything is open source. So this is also the good that like you are not alone with this journey, let's say.
Yeah, that's a great advantage of this kind of solution that are open source and well documented, and there is a kind of active, thriving community that is working on that and have this discussion. So I mean, also it looks pretty straightforward and clear
Yes.
how it functions, and all this flexibility that is available there, even on the level of kind of interface. Even it seems pretty straightforward and promising. I think we should look closer to that for the purpose of our project. But in general, thank you for this great introduction. Thank you for walking us through the Omeka-S, through the way how this digital collection management system works, how this case study works. It's very insightful and useful to us.
Thank you for inviting me. It
Thank
was
you.
nice to have this discussion. Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I
thank you
hope
very
it is
much.
useful for everyone. I didn't know who's gonna be in the audience, so it was a little bit of maybe some repetitions or kind of like a very basic introduction. But if you need any other help, I'm happy to also put you in contact with my colleagues from Omeka as well, or Gantt. And I think you should be also, if you are planning to work with Omeka, come one of the community events, and or just like attend the meetings to also discuss with the colleagues and get some support. Yes.
Yes, definitely. If we would be part of Omeka-S users, we would definitely be happy to be part of the community itself and also contribute to this community, not only to benefit from the insights that are already there, but also offer some contribution on our side. This event itself is also, I think, one of our ideas, how we can kind of contribute to the discussion, be part of the discussion. And I also wanted to remind you that this is the event series that we organize, apart from the one that we had today on the Omeka-S. There was also last week, there was a presentation of Lviv Interactive project. Within this event series, our series is called Urban History, Digital Infrastructures, Sharing Expertise and Networking Cities, organized by the Center for Urban History, with the support from the Center for Governance and Culture in Europe, the University of St. Gallen. And we are going to have few more talks and presentations in the future. The next one is planned for October 21st. This will be on historical cartography and georeferencing historical maps and satellite and aerial images of Ukrainian cities mostly. There will be a project from the city of Dnipro. Artem Kostyuk will present it to us. And we are also planning a few more events, including a presentation of Gantt project for November. So we will also keep you updated in case you'd be interested to participate and join our next events. Speaking of audience, you asked, Tukche, today we had some colleagues from the center related to the project Lviv Interactive, but there were also colleagues from Kharkiv, Karazin University, from Ukrainian Catholic University, people interested in digital history, digital humanities in general, colleagues who already left but joined our event today, also working with as far as I remember, Brigitte, for instance, works on the project about Rijeka, so also mapping history of the city of Rijeka, and some other projects. So I think it was quite useful and relevant for all the participants who joined the event today. Thank you again for this introduction that you gave us today. And I think that would be all for today, and I invite you to our next conversations and meetings in the future. And I wish you a good rest of the day, and see you soon.